I don't know, babe.
You're listening to Girth and Mirth Bears on the PJ and Friends Radio Network, Dallas, Texas. The views and opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect those of this station, owners, management, and sponsors. If you find any content disagreeable, you may exercise your right to change the channel. And now, on with the show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, we're on the air, PJ and Friends, Girth and Mirth Bears podcast and the PJ and Friends Radio Network. We have Keith is MIA because he's doing that husband thing. The honey-do list. He's apparently moving furniture from Doug's house to his house, his condo.
It's a lovely day to do it.
Yeah, nothing like some 99-degree weather to get your heart moving. So today we have Randy.
Hola.
And we have Joseph.
Good afternoon.
Or Joey, as we call him. And then we have, of course, the star of the show, Putty, which is under the desk over here. No, Junior. See, you had to mess with the stand.
What? I didn't do nothing.
Yeah, you did. You moved the stand. I set it up for you, and then you moved.
Yeah, Putty's in the corner.
I know, babe. I know.
Hiding. He's not doing too good.
No, he's not. So, all right. So if you want to participate in the show, give us a call, 469-844-2207. We do want to hear from you guys. I'm going to turn this on so I can hear it if they choose to call. So today we have a couple things we want to talk about. First, let's see how everybody did. How was your week this week, Randy?
Good and bad.
Okay.
I'm still dealing with my foot. It's still not totally healed, so I'm back on the wound vac after about 6 weeks.
Right.
Because we wanted to try and see what would happen without it. And while it has done some healing, it's still not completely done. So I'm back to that. Other than that, I didn't do anything too interesting, really.
Well, yeah, you did, because we missed a show last week. So you and your hubby went to Bigger Vegas?
Well, yeah, that's a couple weeks ago.
How was that?
It was okay. We had a good time.
Well, okay, you say okay like it wasn't a good time. So
No,
it was okay.
It was okay,
Did you? Okay.
Memories were made.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the crowd tends to be younger. I was definitely felt like the old man in the room all the time, but and a lot of chubs and super chubs and super chubs, and it's like a Chaser's buffet. And
Chaser's buffet.
there's a lot going on. They have a lot of events, special outings, that kind of thing.
Right.
So there's always something to do, either going out somewhere or they've got stuff going on at the hotel.
So
it's organized and run very, very well.
It's got to be for that big of that many people. I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So you guys flew out of Dallas, and everything went well on your flight, because we know the flight world is crazy lately. So you had no problems.
We had no problems either there or on our little quick trip to Minnesota the last weekend in June. We were there for my mom's memorial service. Minnesota's beautiful this time of the year. It was like 80 degrees, sunny, no humidity.
I know, right?
It's lovely.
And you went to Walnut Grove.
We did, yes. Little outing.
I know it's crazy, but I want to go there. Probably nothing absolutely. Once you get to like, oh, this was a waste of time. But I want to go.
No, it's a very popular place. We were in the gift shop, and there were.
I saw the gift shop and the
Yeah.
dresses you were trying to give me.
Yeah, you'd look good in them.
Nay, Fluffy. I may not.
But there were people, a small family from somewhere in England were there, and apparently their kids are a big fan of the show. I don't know how they, ever came across that, but anyway, so they were there, and there were people from, I don't know, other states, other places in Minnesota, and it's a popular spot.
Well, that was cool. Just so you know, Jesse says Joey has the right idea for the weather. So henceforth, your name is. I'm just saying, okay. And then Jimmy Blom. I can't pronounce your name, so I'm not going to do it. Jimmy B says hi, boys. And Jesse says you're lucky if you didn't catch COVID at Bigger Vegas. So he's chock full of positive information today.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not surprised. That would have happened. We didn't, we hung out with a small group of friends.
A pot of people.
So we weren't,
but you're part of the corral here. What do they call it? The full name of the
Turtle Creek Corral.
Turtle Creek Corral, and that's the gay chorus here in Dallas. Now a lot of those guys recently went to New York, and you said some people came back testing positive.
Yeah, they were in New York last weekend. They had a concert at Carnegie Hall Saturday evening, and I've noticed quite a few guys have tested positive since returning to Dallas. So I don't think anyone's seriously ill, but I'm not.
I don't think. I think if you've had the vaccinations, you might feel. Some people feel miserable, but they don't. They're not as bad as it was when it first came around.
Yeah, definitely not in the hospital.
Sam said that he had gotten a booster either yesterday or the day before, and he sort of felt under the weather with that booster. I don't know if it's second or third booster or what, but I've heard a lot of people say sometimes along the way with the boosters, you can't tend to get ooey. So
there's another friend in the corral that got sick before, and he was double vaxxed, double boosted. He got very sick, was in the hospital, and died, actually.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, it was shocking, actually, that he would get that sick. So I don't know if he got a particularly bad variant or what. I've not heard if they did any testing.
People with pre-existing conditions still are more susceptible to certain things about it.
And I don't know his medical history, so I couldn't say.
So, Joe, you recently started a new job. First, you moved here and you've settled in. You're getting all cocky now. We're going to have to talk to you about that. But good luck. So, you've got your job. How do you like it?
Love it.
Okay.
Just completed my first week. Work with a wonderful group of people.
That's good. That's good. I
am so happy to be back. Part of the working world. I enjoyed my little time off, but it was time to get back to reality.
Right. Now, you were with the same company for 17 years, was it?
Almost 19.
Almost 19 years. And in that time, you had only gotten up to $17 an hour?
Less than
16 something dollars an hour. Mm-hmm. And just starting out here, you're already, doesn't matter where you are, but you're a lot higher than you were.
Yes.
And of course, you're in a state with no income tax, so that sort of helps a little bit. So that's good. I mean, you're the key now is if you like it, they treat you well and it's a good atmosphere, but the kind of job you're doing, it's not like a sales job. Do you have quotas and all that?
No.
That's good. So that means, you have I'm sure steady flow work. So what you do is these are from people that for whatever reason have a loan or something like that, and there's money left over and they got money coming back to them, and you guys process those payments. Is that correct?
Close.
Okay. If you want to, if you feel, if it's okay, you can say. If you don't want to say.
When people sell cars to a dealership, we are the people that get the check to the consumer.
Right.
To reimburse them for the car that they have sold. And
okay.
We pay off the loans if there was still a loan, and pretty much just make sure all the books balance for the company.
Okay. Okay.
So do you have a network of dealers that you deal with then?
Very large.
Yeah. Okay.
So Carlos is asking if juniors had 2 or 3. I think we've only had the one booster so far. We've had 3 shots, right? There's another one we're supposed, but we can't yet. It's too soon. right?
Actually, I'm thinking about taking it before we get before we
Go on the cruise. Well, if we're allowed, is there an optimal time to take it, or is it just up to us when we decide to go get it?
It's been 6 months since we took the last one.
Yeah, I do want to get another one.
Yeah. Randy, you got all your boosters and everything?
Yeah, I got double boosted in February, I think it was.
And we need to wind up
shortly after it became available.
Yeah, need to get that done.
Because I'm old and infirm.
Yes, you are.
and got a wound again. Bless your heart.
So, Junior, how was your week?
It was okay.
So you had a good week. Very busy for you at work.
Yeah.
Last night we went out to the bar.
Couldn't drive home.
That's okay. That's what I'm here for. Make sure you don't.
My leg went to sleep sitting in that chair.
Okay, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what happened. Once I got in the car and we were driving down the road, I could drive.
Right.
Yeah, well, I don't want to risk it. I don't want to risk your license or your life or somebody else's life. I don't want to do that. So, so you had a good time last night. And to go back to Joe, you went out to the bar last night. And you were really having a good time.
Yes.
That's good.
I had started talking to somebody online, and we met in person last night at the bar.
Ooh.
So was it AOL inches, or people won't know what that means?
You're right. He doesn't know what that means.
He's in his 30s, so you're robbing the cradle. You old man, you.
Late 30s.
Well, yeah. So we Junior and I will need to meet him and approve all that stuff.
What's his name?
Daniel.
His name is Daniel, and I'm trying to get him to come to dinner tonight.
Well, you should do that. You should do that. So, let's see. Our topics today are open relationships. Now, there are some people. I don't know. Do you think open relationships are a strictly gay thing, or do you think there are unwritten rules in marriages as well?
Oh, I think straight people do that too.
Now, is it an agreed upon thing? I don't know. It's kind of like, I guess it's kind of like I'm
guessing that most straight couples are not going to advertise that.
Right.
It's something that they do, but they don't talk to their friends about it.
Right.
Their friends are part of the whatever they do. So, yeah, it's there.
See, I've seen people on Growler and Bigger City that say they're married. Their wife knows, but they don't care. You know what I mean? So that usually stops me anyway, because I really don't want someone that's, I want nothing to do with a woman. So if he's like, let's say he's been with her, hasn't showered and come to me, I don't want residual. Okay, it's like wipe it in tuna. Just tuna. So I can't do that. But I don't know. I don't know. It really shouldn't bother me. But I did somebody, so I guess you know who I'm talking about. Junior.
Well,
He's not listening. Okay.
And there are just as many opposite of that are looking for some action that their wife doesn't know about.
Right.
And I think that's less honorable, I guess.
Right.
I understand you want someone to do things with you, but
do you think sex gets boring after a while? Do you think people just get used to it, or what is it that they're not getting at home that they need that openness?
They get to relax into like a regular, this is what we're going to do, this is when we're going to do it, and this is how we're going to do it, and that's that.
Right.
They're looking for some variety in their life.
I think for me, the only reason I'd ever want an open relationship is because there are things I want to do that I don't want to come home with. You know what I mean? Yes. Fantasies and things I would do that I need the illusion of I can walk away from it. You know what I mean?
No,
and
exactly what you
so
mean. And I think that's the same that others are going through.
And even though people might know, even though people, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to remember it. I want until I'm hot and bothered again. I don't want to think about it. And for me though, sexually, I just don't have a libido. I want it, but I don't have it. I just don't have it. And even when we go to pool parties and stuff like that, I'm like, okay.
So is that related to medications you're on, or?
I'm not entirely sure. I know that I I don't think it's med. I was diabetic for so long. I still am. I'm pre-diabetic, at least, I'm still on meds, but I'm like very close to pre-diabetic. And I know that had a lot to do with it. And I was heavy for so long. I do know that when I do anything cardio related and I do it for at least a couple of weeks, the old erections, spontaneous erections will happen. That like when I was a kid, not as hard or anything like that, but it's there. I'm like, wow, look who's here, but now it does, it doesn't, and so, and I guess for me, it's almost embarrassing in the sense that the person you're with has to understand that, yes, you can still climax and all that, but it might take a little while and they might not see an erect penis or a extremely erect penis. And the challenge with that is some people they think you're not interested. They think you're not, but also it can be a lot of work. You got to put a lot of work into it, and you can't ask someone to, okay, we're into this for 90 minutes and I gotta go. For the first time, there was a period of time where the only way I could do anything was by myself because no one. I thought for a long time I'd lost it. And Junior, when I met Junior and we first got together, and it was. He without a problem, but I had to have the right image in my head, the right fantasy for it to work. Right. And there were times where I just couldn't get the fantasy to play and I would get close and motherfucker. And I have to say, I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. But yeah, as the last year or so, if I did more cardio, I think I would be better off. I think I would get more results. I haven't done it. I mean, the walking did well, but it wasn't a lot of cardio, but when I was doing honest to goodness cardio, I bounced back a little bit. So I don't know. But I do have things I like to do and like to talk about, like to play, but I don't want to do it at home. He'd be more than willing to do a lot of the things I want to do. It's just, I gotta have the anonymity. You know what I mean? I gotta at least have the illusion of it. So, anyway, what about you? So are you a Mark in an open relationship?
Yeah, but we usually
together
play together. Yeah, very rare that we would, do something alone.
Right.
But it's not out of the picture, but just haven't gone there. I mean, I guess I've reached a point in my life where I'm not on apps actively looking for, sex partners. That's just not something
So was this something that y'all discussed before you got together, or is it something that happened later on in your relationship?
Yeah, it was part of the getting to know you kind of thing, and what are you looking for? What do you want in a relationship? And I mean, we had both been, Mark especially. Well, yeah, we had gone through phases of being alone or single or whatever, and I mean, you just kind of want to maintain some of those friendships and relationships that you've made before you got into a serious relationship,
right?
So, yeah, it's not something we actively do, but if something would present itself, we're more than happy to participate.
Okay, so Carlos has said, and I'm not sure I'm understanding this correctly, but it says, why PJ have to assume to be a proven if it's okay for Joe? I don't understand what that means. He's not capable of choose his own BJ to date. I'm assuming that this is not translating right or not giving us the right information.
You were kidding around with me about having to approve of the man that I'm talking
Oh,
to.
that was a joke.
Yes.
I would never do that. Well, okay, so why? Okay, so here's what's going on. And we're not going to talk a lot about that, but people are asking why you look sad. Putty is 19 years old, and he has been having some serious dental problems where it's affected his ability to eat and willingness to eat. He wants to eat, but it hurts so bad he won't, and he's lost an awful lot of weight. And so we're at the point now where we have to make some decisions, and I would want to try. We have some pain meds that we're going to try for now and see if that works. But if we choose to, we have the option is that we have at his age right now, if we were to do any kind of dental work, it's a risk. It's a serious risk to his health. They put him out. There can't be guaranteed he's going to come back up. And then there's the cost associated, which I don't care about. So it's like $2,500 or something like that for this dental work. And then if you do that, you still got to pay for it if the cat doesn't make it. I would not make that. I would not hesitate if it were him or anybody else. And if it were a puppy or a dog or that cat, if this is what he wants to do, we'll do it. So the reason he's having a hard time is he's having a hard time because he's very, very, very attached to, and it's a rough thing. This cat's been 19 years. That's a long time. That's a long time. And the thing is, he's happy and healthy other than the fact that he can't eat, and we know he's in pain. So it's a rough decision. And in the past, dogs I've had with Matt, my friend in Florida, I was always the one that had to make the choice, and I don't want to do that, but I can make it. It's not easy. Don't get me wrong. I mean, when I had to make the choice for Cody, I cried. I was in the parking lot bawling my eyes out. Mm-hmm. When I picked up his ashes, I was bawling my eyes out. And for months, it was a hard time there. I'd remember everything, And Junior's very anniversary orientated, right? And so he's had a lot of loss. His husband, Johnny Morello, I'm pronouncing his name wrong. So he's had a lot of loss. And so this is not something we'd rather not be dealing with this now, but it looks like it's going to be staring us in the face the next couple of weeks. So that's why he's sad. So that's what's going on. So if he's quiet, please be patient with him and please understand and respect that. You have anything you want to say?
No, not really.
Are you okay, baby?
Yeah. I'm just.
So, having said, we talked about open relationships, and when Junior and I first talked about this, first we hadn't really discussed it. We hadn't really said anything, but until you're settled in your relationship, to open it can cause problems. You know what I mean? Until you've solidified your relationship and you're secure in your relationship, to open it can bring confusion into the relationship that doesn't need to be there. And so I don't think for a long while, I mean, we'd go to pool parties and stuff like that, and I might touch somebody, but even then I didn't play. I mean, I didn't really do much. And I didn't regret it. I didn't have a problem with that. But clearly people went there for that. So in some instances, some pool parties were a little more tame than others. And this is well before Carlos and them had their pool. This is like, we're talking 2019 or to late 2000, early 2020. I don't know. They got their house in early 2020. But I go to pool parties and clearly people there were there to play. So it wasn't just yes, people would talk and stuff like that, but then they'd go off into their corners and they would do whatever. And so, socializing, yes, to a point, but, that wasn't, so I sort of like a fish out of water because that's really not what I was there for. Had I been single, had things been different, I might have, but I wasn't in a place anywhere to do that. And even when we go to Steven's pool parties, all these are safe atmospheres. All these are safe places to play. It's not like you got to worry about this or that. But what I mean by that, you can feel comfortable enough to do it or not, to wear a bathing suit or not. But I just felt like, I don't know, a third wheel, even though, anyway, so it was just awkward, So yeah, that's that, but as far as our open relationship is concerned, and then as we moved along, and I've talked to him, we've talked about some of the things I want to do and want to experience, want to play with, and he's perfectly willing to do them. But again, I want that illusion of anonymity, and it doesn't help because I know it bothers him because he wants to do some of the things I want. I just can't imagine doing some of the things I would want to do. So looking at that, I'm going to transition this a little bit to. Carlos says, "Oh man, sorry. I know it. I have a lot of sentiment for you and Steve, but maybe it's better for him." Okay, that's not good. People with polyamorous relationships, and that simply means more than one partner. Now, one of the things I've noticed is I've got quite a few people in my life that I've met that have tried the polyamorous thing, and it sort of starts with, okay, if you're a couple. Unless it starts out that way, even then, I think it's risky. And the reason I say that is, I think that if you don't have the core relationships secure, bringing something else in there, an unknown or some other variable, then there's any of the confusion that is there is just it creates more confusion. The dust doesn't settle, and you don't. So then this person's not getting enough attention. Why is this person getting attention? Why is this happening? And so it causes. You have to really be. I think, at least for me to ever consider, and I would never. I might just think it would be a nightmare. I think you need to have a very secure relationship, and you need to have at least. I think you would want to have a secure foothold in your relationship before you could add a third or fourth or however many that's going to be.
I would agree with you to that point for sure. I don't know that I could personally be in one, as I would get too jealous knowing myself, but I support those that choose to live that way. I mean, if that's the decision that works well for you, I'm all for it.
So, well, and I've had friends when I was living in Orlando. They weren't emotionally healthy. And I'm going to say this, probably get nailed for it, but I think there's a lot of people in the gay community that haven't figured out. In some instances, there's trauma that associates. There's something that led. There are people that are just honestly gay, but then there are people that sometimes there's a catalyst that creates it. Sometimes it's something in their lifetime that pushed them in that direction or whatever. And unless those things aren't dealt with, then anything else you bring after that, until you've healed yourself and then you've got a solid relationship and then you want to go, it causes challenges. But I had these friends. They had moved to Florida from New Jersey. They were a threesome, but they weren't very mature individuals. They were older fellas. They had two older guys and one guy probably in his 20s or 30s, and the other guys was in their 40s. And but it wasn't a healthy relationship. I mean, for example, I would go over, not play with them. I never, but I'd go over and they had a house and they had a pool and all this stuff. But anytime the other one got a thought that, well, why did so-and-so get this and I didn't get that? Or why did so-and-so get that? There was always that, why didn't I? That and it really caused a lot of confusion. It really hurt. I mean, you could see that they were constantly bickering, constantly fighting, constantly whatever. And so one of them, we would simply get in the car and drive and listen to 80s music, right? And I would always ask, hey, this person's off today, I'm off today. Is it going to bother you guys if we just go for a ride? And we would do that, but then sure enough, but it was a kind of sure, but it was a yes, but it was a, you know what I mean? It was a yes with an attachment, because they said, well, then why didn't I? You could have gone, but you were working. You said it was okay. How can you have a problem now? And then of course, then they go back and they bicker, and you say, well, I'm sorry I caused it. Oh, it's not you, but there's no way not to get mixed up in that, because now you're miserable and uncomfortable. And so like another friend, one of the other ones I would take out, we'd go out for ice cream or something like that, why didn't I get to go? And here's these people, some of these guys are our age, right? You figure they'd be mature or whatever. But because of the relationship, because of the insecurities of it, they weren't able to handle any of that. They weren't able to deal with it. And so because now you've got three people, you don't have a healthy way to work on it. You can blame it on this guy. You can blame it on this guy. You can blame it on this insecurity. And then this guy can blame it on that guy. This guy can blame it on that guy. So you don't ever get anything resolved and you don't move forward in a healthy way. So as long as there's all that confusion there, how can you solidify something? But they swear to God, they loved each other. I know one guy, one of the older fellows spanked the other guy, but not just spanked in the sense that, beat this boy. And they played and joked about it, but you clearly knew that this wasn't a healthy thing. But I see people in this relationship, and I not as often as I did, but you hear about it. I just don't understand it. I guess, I don't know. Have you ever met anybody that has had it worked where it's it's a hell, no different than having, you know what I mean? Anybody seen that where it's healthy?
I have not seen where it's healthy. I have a friend in Florida that is in polyamorous.
Yeah, I had to learn the word.
And it's, I don't know, he's always has some sort of problem with at least one of them. And then other people are always antagonizing, and it's just not healthy at all.
Yeah. Now I wish it were, I don't understand, but here's the thing. I don't want to sound judgmental. I mean, if if they're happy, and it's working for them, and if even with all the confusion that I see, maybe that's their life. I've met people in my lifetime that if there isn't something bad going on in the relationship, to them, something's wrong. You follow me? They're so used to something being wrong that if there's not something wrong, something's wrong. So I don't understand. Things are going good. I mean, they can't handle that. So they're so used to having something happening that they can't live it. And so to them, okay, this is normal. This chaos is normal. And I don't know, man. I don't know if I could live that way. I mean, I met these guys out of not South Carolina, but over that way. And they were, okay, two older fellas. There was all into all sorts of different, very open things. I mean, they were very into very kinky stuff. I mean, one guy would put on a diaper, like, take a whole bunch of like X-Lac and stuff like that. The other partner, they'd go to McDonald's and stand in line, and they'd do this, mess the pants. Oh, and got it. To them, that was, I don't get it. That I could never understand. Okay, but there was some naughtiness, quirkiness that turned them on about that, right? Then they had another guy that was liked to be a baby, liked to be a boy, had teddy bears and all this stuff. They even built a crib in the room. Now, don't get me wrong. Outside of the house, they were 100% fine. You could go out with them. They were, but they had this. But they were open to anything. They were open to anything. They were playing with catheters. They were playing with this. They were playing with that, and TENS units and anything. Though they were, I guess it's the closest thing to the '70s free love. But I only think the '70s would have looked at this like it was okay. But they were really. But I looked at. I went up and stayed with them for like a week, and I'm like, I can't do this. And here's the thing: is it because I was uncomfortable? Yeah, maybe. I didn't want to do none of this stuff that they were doing, but I was like intrigued because I'm like, how, okay, you're in a relationship, right? Let's say there's something you want to try. Are you brave enough to talk to your family, your partner about it? Hey, I want to do this. Or are you like, oh, once the cat's out of the bag, I can't put it back in the bag. So you don't say anything. So you don't have these conversations. Let's say that's where the cheating comes in, or the open relationship comes in. You're going out somewhere to get it, because you're ashamed or afraid to talk to your partner about it. And you might find out that, hey, they were interested too, but too afraid to talk about it, right?
Right. So,
or, you know what? I can't do this, but if you need this, go, or are they mature enough not to freak out and like, oh, I didn't know this about you. Oh, this is over. Get out, So, Why are you blushing? You don't have to detail anything that you guys are interested. I'm not.
No. I was going to say that there was a friend of mine used to live in Dallas.
Oh, Keith says, "What the fuck, Keith? You can't say anything. You're not here."
And he moved to. Well, I don't want to reveal too much information. He moved from Dallas to be with another couple, and they're considerably older than he is, but so far it's worked fine.
Right.
He seems to be very happy, and they're out doing stuff all the time. I don't know what their sexual proclivities are, but
right.
It appears that they're in a pretty stable relationship right now. So
see, and that's the thing though. What they're doing is not horrible. You know what I mean? It's not like they're not molesting anybody. They're not killing anybody. They're not forcing somebody to do something. You know what I mean? But I think doing certain things out in public, even if nothing else, just to be a decent human being, you don't do. But again, they weren't hurting anybody. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to think about it, but I'm thinking this is more than, so anyway, so back to the polyamorous thing. So I get it. I get to all these people that want to, I don't think I'm ever going to be emotionally healthy enough. I can hardly handle one. And this man gets the short end of the stick 90% of the time because I'm an asshole. And I told him this before I moved here. I said, I'm going to be an asshole. I told you this. And he says, you're right. He's better than I am in a lot of things. He's better at communicating. He's better at dealing with things. I don't. I'm very emotional. all that. But I wish our relationship was healthier. I wish I was able to be more healthier for him, because I know there are days where he looks at me like, I just don't know what to do for you. And there's nothing to be done. I just got to wait and it'll pass. So I'm a grown man. Say what I want. Yeah. You're a grown man doing the honeydew list and not allowed to be out with your friends. So, yeah, you're so manly, aren't you? You can call anytime you want. 469-844-2207. Doughboy.
Brutal.
Okay, along the same lines, we had a friend here in town that gave us a link to, I don't know if it's a sex club, but it's a you go to this place where you I think I sent you, were you here at the time? I don't think you were here at the time, but he gave us a link to, it was it was a sex party or something like this, but it was a place you go to, people that were, you go there, you get naked, you can get fucked, you can watch, you can whatever, and it's like a free for all kind of thing. And I'm thinking, well, but there's no guarantee they're chubbies. There's no guarantee, you don't know what I did that when I was younger in the bars, certain bars you could go to where it was like that. You know what I mean? I went to visit San Francisco and visit LA, and I just don't know nowadays if I could. Am I gotten old? Is that what it is?
Not yet. Well,
you gotta lower this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well.
What are your thoughts, honey?
I'm just thinking about pudding.
I know you are. So when we went to TBRU, okay, there was the puppy bin, the little room for pups, right? And these guys are in their masks, and they're on the play pad, and people walk in and just scratch their chin like their dog and treats them like they're puppies. And in my world of improv and acting and all that, this should matter, right? But I'm thinking, I guess here's the thing. I suppose it would be more acceptable for me, lights out, closed room, dark. I don't want to, you know what I mean? But but there was no harm. No one was being hurt. No one was being whatever. But I went in there and thought, this is,
It's not for you.
I don't know about that though.
Okay.
Not maybe the puppy thing, but I'm thinking, are there kinks that I would be interested in? Now I don't know if I want a room for it. I'll go down to room 7. You can have an argument. Go down to room 4. You can get smacked around. Room 5. Whatever. Climb a tree and have sex with an elf. I don't know. But so let me ask, if there was a house you could go to and each room was a different fantasy or a different quirk, anybody would be happy, or would there be people be afraid to open that door?
There would definitely be people afraid to open the door.
Right.
But my curiosity would kill me, and I'd have to open a few of them.
There was an adult film from the 70s called Behind the Green Door.
Right. I don't know, but
yeah, I didn't see it, so I don't know what was behind the green door, but it was supposed to be something really.
One of the very first, before we were like the very last family in our world to have cable. We lived in a neighborhood where they kept coming out and saying, cable's on its way, and every month they'd come back, sorry, we got to give your money back, it's not coming. Back then, they had something called On TV, which was just basically an antenna you put on your roof pointed in a certain direction, and it got signals from something, and you had a box set. And it usually was just Fridays and Saturday nights. You turn on, there'd be a movie or two playing. And, of course, there was porn. And my mom, dad, my sister went out of town for a while, right? And I'm thinking, I'm going to check out this porn. Of course, it's all straight fucking porn, right? And one of them was a bathhouse, right? And then there's one about Zorro, and Zorro having sex with young girls, and but was it chubby? The sheriff was chubby, and this is a chubby guy. And come here, have breakfast. And I'm like, oh my God, that turned me on, right? But I'm thinking how come I couldn't be that? How come I couldn't be that? But that was the first time I ever saw porn. And my mom came home and said, did you look at the porn? I said, yeah, I looked at the porn, but I didn't tell her what I looked at the porn. But she said, yes, Mom, I did look. She wanted to talk. No, we're not talking about this. No. I don't know, but I was okay. I was the kind of kid though. It was a newer. The place was still being built up, so there's a lot of empty lots and stuff in the area, or some houses in different. It was raining one night, and my parents, again, they were gone. And it was real wet outside, and I got naked and was walking around the neighborhood in the mud and all that shit. And I don't no reason why, but the excitement of it was that I was doing something that you're not supposed to do. So I had to get in the shower, clean up, make sure I cleaned off the bathroom because there was mud everywhere. And I'm like, but I was like all turned on because I was doing something I shouldn't have been doing, and I don't know. It kind of was a letdown because after you did, like, okay, now what? So, I don't know. Keith, just fuck. Sex is sex. Love is love. Oh, you're so 80s. Easy. So, you guys are being awful quiet. Is this topic too real? Too much? We can't talk about this.
No.
Or should we call Mark and say, "Hey, Mark, tell us what really going on, Mark?" Huh? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so one of the other things we wanted to talk about was the different events that are going on around the country. You have Convergence. Used to be Big Man's Weekend. Then there was all the Bears used to have their thing. Orlando Bears used to have but they went under. And then you've got TBRU. You got what other are there? Right now, what other events are there as far as bears? All sorts of bears have runs everywhere. There's smaller groups that do smaller things, but there used to be 5 years ago used to be a big. You'd have to choose. Right now, there's a chubby thing that goes on in where is it? No, in California. The what's the one I'm talking about? Right, the one twice.
Chub Fest.
Yeah, twice a year, don't they?
Not always. They don't always. It's usually in May. They sometimes do one in the fall. November-ish. So one of the things, Bear Bus, which used to be Orlando, I would go to these events and you would see a bunch of chubby guys all sitting around complaining about no one was talking to them, but then they wouldn't get up and meet people and talk to them. You know what I mean? They'd want people to walk up to them. And it was the equivalent of basically sitting on Facebook and chatting, but then people wouldn't respond, but people would respond. But they would sit there and they'd pay all this money and they'd bring their liquor and they'd do it. And then they would be upset because they didn't meet anybody. But at the same time, they never got out of their chair to meet people. When you think about the events you're going to, are you going for sex? Is that what you're hoping for, to hook up with somebody? Or are you going there for, the articles? I mean, Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is it to be with people? Is it to network? Or are you looking for that?
I think 20 years ago, for me, it was, I want to have some wild sex, and that's different now. I just, we don't go to that many events. We went to the bigger city, and that's the only thing we're doing this year. I prefer a smaller event, and the one that I have enjoyed the most over the years is called Austin Chill, put on by the Lone Star Bears in Austin. They haven't had it since COVID. It's usually Labor Day weekend. They have a resort on the west side of Austin, and there's maybe a couple hundred guys at the most. But they take over the hotel, and the pool is clothing optional. There's no real outings planned other than they rent a party barge and go out on the lake for an afternoon. Otherwise, it's just kind of hang at the hotel and meet people and sit in the pool and, very low key. So I've enjoyed that over the years. And looking forward to them coming back next year.
Do you think it's possible for events to be too big?
I guess. I don't know. That's kind of one of my things about TBRU. I think it's just too big. I mean, I don't know. Maybe not for what it's, I guess it's what do you want to get out of the event, sure, but there's just so much going on and so many people that it's a little overwhelming to me.
When your foot's normal, do you? when your foot's normal, do you obviously have a better time? You can get around and do things.
Well, yeah, it's a little less accessories to deal with.
Right. So what about you? When you think about events that you go to, what are you looking for?
Well, as this year's TBRU was the very first event I'd ever been to, I had the misconception that there was like people having sex all over the place.
It was happening. You just weren't there.
I thought that they would like come up to you and say, "Hey, let's just go to the bedroom and get busy." And
no, there were people doing that, Joe.
Yes.
You could have you could have done that. You could have been
It was my first. It was a trial run. I had to make all the errors this time.
Okay,
so
all right. So now,
next time.
Next time we expect to see him lined up at the door.
I don't know about all that.
No, and that's the thing is first, there's a lot of work goes into these things. These guys do an amazing job. The ones that actually do it, and then if it runs off without a hitch, they really do it well. There are groups that put it together and have no clue what they're getting themselves into, and they're younger at what they do, but then you don't have as good of a time. If the TBRU, for example, the rooms were decent. They had things set up right. The place, they've used the same location, I guess, for a number of years. So they have a great relationship with the hotel. I think the worst thing was the governor showed up. But I've been to different events, and I don't. Again, I guess when I met him, that's how I met him. Was it Convergence? He and Stephen had gone to Convergence, and he was talking to my best friend Matt, and he was playing with Matt, and I had gone out to meet Matt there, and then to go eat. And we were going to a buffet place to eat. And he was talking to me, but I didn't give him a second thought, only because he was married. He was in from out of town, and I would never see him again, And marriage would have just it was a complication that I wouldn't have entertained at the time. And so when but had it not been for that, I might not have been on his radar, And then in 2019, earlier 2019, we started talking, and we hit it off. We yap. We did the video thing for days, and it went well. Here we are. And I know there are many people that have met people, their significant others at these kinds of events.
I enjoyed running into people that I had been talking to online for years when I went there, and that was probably one of the best parts of it for me, is to the friendship bond that I got out of it with the people that I did meet.
Right. Yeah, I had a thought in my head, but it's escaped me. I was going to say something, I forgot what it was. See, now there's a couple events. If I did anything now, I kind of want to do it in different parts of the country. What I mean by that is if I'm going to do events, then I'd like to do one like in the West Coast, like do one on the East Coast. If nothing else, just because that puts me in different parts of the country that I can look around and see while I'm there, kind of thing. And Junior, since he's lost the weight, one of the things that I see that he really enjoys, he's very social, at least what I've seen. So like the vendor room, he went up and down each aisle, talked to each vendor, tried on everything. He had a good time. He really, really had a good time. So a year ago, he couldn't have done that. He wouldn't have been as happy as he is now. He wouldn't have been. And he was really having a great, he would go, I got to go back to the vendor. I said, okay, go back to the vendor room. But see, one of the cool things is, especially with him, this is why I like hanging out with him when we go to those places. He will talk to them, so I get to meet them and talk, and we get to look at stuff. We look at soaps. What else? We looked at different colognes they're making, and that leather guy we talked to. He had me try on a harness,
which looked good on you, by the way.
I know he didn't buy me one though.
Well, I'm not doing too good today, so I'm gonna.
You're leaving.
Yep, I'm gonna scoot out and just.
All right, baby.
Let's see if he can follow me. He's sleeping.
Looks like he's sleeping.
Yeah, I gave him that pain meds earlier, so he might be out cold.
All right. Well, we're having another pod show next week.
Nope, week after.
Week after.
And then we got a cruise.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, we're going on a cruise. I keep trying to get you to go.
I know you do.
You don't love us this
How
week.
can he go now? He's got a wound.
Well, he gets a handicap parking on the boat. We put the thing on the boat. We get the best parking space at the dock. He gets to drive. Yeah.
I would get rent one of the actual motorized.
You know what they keep telling us we can upgrade to a suite, and if
What?
Junior can get his own cabin, and we all can upgrade to a suite.
All right.
So when is this happening?
To August 6th.
August 6th.
Yeah. You guys don't sweat it. You've already made it clear you guys can't go. It's all right.
Yeah.
All right.
I would like to, but it's just.
Well, here's the thing. The only reason I'm pushing it now is because they've canceled 2 of our ports. So we don't know why. So we're getting a lot of days at sea where before. So you're not going to be doing a lot of other than on the cruise ship. So once you get comfortable or something like that, you should be okay. Basically means drinking and eating. We can do that.
That's one of my specialties.
Keith says we already know what Junior likes. I don't know what he means by that, but okay, honey. So, listen, yeah, I apologize. Yeah, it's been kind of somber here today. So, are you going to go lay down? I knew it.
Well, let's talk about something more
Cheerful?
cheerful, uplifting.
What?
The weather.
Yeah, no. So, yesterday I sent a text out to. I don't have a great relationship with my family, and I not for what people think it is. It has nothing to do with being gay. At least I don't think so, because way back when my parents always said they didn't care. But I was a bit of a problem child. Always had emotional issues and challenges and problems like that. But my parents, I was adopted when I was given up when I was 2, adopted when I was 4. And the Bentelio family adopted me when we were living in New Jersey. And when we moved to Florida, they decided somewhere along the way that they didn't want me anymore. So in the 70s, the only way to get rid of a child you didn't want was to basically say they were incorrigible or sick or whatever. So they put me in a state hospital, which was a draconian place to be as a kid, and left me there for 2-3 years. Out of the blue, somewhere along the way, they came back and got me. And then, of course, I never trusted them. And I was an habitual liar as a kid and all sorts of problems, which just justified their thoughts about how bad of a child which wasn't the truth. But, and so, as I got older and all that, I ran away and was put in group homes and foster homes and all that other stuff. And but we've had relations on and off. We've had communication on and off. And I don't know what's changed. There was always a point where they said, we're always going to love you. We're always going to be there for you. And I've had their cell phone number for a long while. And every once in a long while, I reach out, hey, how you doing, whatever. And I when I married Junior, I told him I got married. I'm here in Texas. Would you like to meet? Nothing. Would you like to? And every so often I send it again. And yesterday I sent it again, and I got a no thank you, which doesn't surprise me. You know, in their somehow along the way, they in their mind they believe that I was a problem, and I'm sure I was after everything that happened. But that tore me up yesterday. That really tore me up yesterday. But so everybody, I think people don't. When I posted that, I think they think it's because it was a gay thing. And it may be, but I don't believe that to be, at least I had no reason to believe that because that's just not the way they were. However, clearly not knowing them like I thought I knew them when I was a kid, I could be wrong. You know, we were raised Catholic and all that, but my mom and dad were always the kind of people that were least seem, you know, supportive, whatever I wanted to be, whatever I wanted. But see, saying that after saying, well, we'd like to give them back, you know, it's kind of, you know, hard to do. So,
how old were you when that happened?
Which part?
They put you in the.
Oh, I was like
home.
7. Oh, I was put in a state hospital, Yep. I was put
Oh
there.
my God.
I was 300 miles from them, so they only came visit once in a long while, and actually stopped. I told them to stop coming because it hurt me to watch them leave.
Sure.
So, but it was a torture chamber. It was torture. It was nonstop. We're talking 70s. We're talking 70s psychiatric care, but it was a state facility with no oversight, no rules and laws like they have now. Kids were sent out into the community for sex, and you were abused and beaten. And I saw kids get killed. I saw kids die, get chopped up and put in trash bags, and all sorts of stuff. Hence why I have issues today, emotional issues, challenges where I don't always deal with things as well as I'd like to. And this is why I feel bad for Junior, because there are days he just doesn't know how to deal with it. But I do feel bad sometimes because there are days like yesterday I could have really used to talk to him, but he needed to go out and get drunk. And when I got up this morning, I said, I really could have talked to you. He said, well, I didn't do anything wrong. I said, you didn't do anything wrong, but I really needed it. He didn't get it. So, anyway. So, yeah. Everybody was very supportive yesterday, but I think they got the wrong idea. And I don't, to explain it would be just pointless. If they listen to this, then they'll know. If not, then no big deal. So I was desperately looking for who can I call? Who can I talk to yesterday? But there just wasn't anybody that I felt that it would have helped me any. So I didn't. Welcome to hell. What's that mean? Orgies? Okay. I'm not sure I know what that means. Welcome to hell. Orgies, we know what Virginia likes. Oh, anyway. Okay. So listen, we're approaching the hour. We're a little short, but we're just going to call it a day. I was trying to have topics, and I think we touched base on these topics before. What I'd like you guys to do is to help me with this. Come up with, during the course of the week, if you see something you want to talk about, bring it to the thing and have a, right now, right now, Texas, we're dealing with weather. Like back in February a year ago, we were dealing with a freeze where, our power grid was tested, and now we're getting told again, well, we need to be cautious. Well, why didn't you fix the power grid?
Because they were too busy working on abortion bills,
right,
and voting bills,
right. So my point is, there are things that you see during the course of the week, and so let's bring some things up. And I'm hoping that no one's going to want to listen. This is a downer, but you know what? Not every show is going to be an upbeat thing. There are going to be things we talk about that are just going to be real.
It's life.
Yep. So I want to thank you guys for coming in. I know Junior's having a real rough trouble, which I think he's down for the count today. So I got to figure out what I'm going to do, because I cannot sit around this house and be somber all day. It would just tear me apart. So, and I have a feeling I'm going to have to make the decision on the cat. I don't think he'll be able to do it. I don't know. I don't know. And then I got to live with him after that happens. And it's hard. So anyway, so what do you got going on this week? Anything good?
Well, I'm getting my driver's license renewed on Monday.
Oh, that'll be interesting with that.
I let it expire.
Did you? Well, yeah. Did you because of COVID?
No, I just forgot. I got a letter from them, from the DPS, like in November of last year, and it said that I needed to do it in person because I had renewed online the last time.
Right.
And I filed it away and promptly forgot all about it.
So are you legal or not legal?
I'm not legal, actually.
Well, don't drive. Well, you haul your ass to jail and you'll meet Bubba. Bubba could be fun though.
Yeah. So that was a major faux pas on my part.
I've been there.
So I have an appointment on Monday morning to get that done. I was concerned because I was going to rent a car to go to Minnesota. I was going to drive. And I don't think they would have let me take a car with an expired driver's license. No, I don't think they would have. I got on the plane using my passport. That's still valid.
And you got to get your license too. When is that happening?
My appointment's for Tuesday morning.
And
we finally have a
we
Texas
should have
license.
Coordinated.
Well, it was either going to take that day or wait till October. So I was like, I'll take that day.
Really?
Yes.
Well, he's got to go to Denton County.
Yeah.
because we're technically this little block of properties in Denton County.
Oh, I thought I could go anywhere for the driver's
I
license.
don't know, and I would hate for you to try.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's
They call it a regional center in Carrollton somewhere. I looked it up and I've forgotten exactly where it is.
But what you got anything going this week? You're hoping your friends. I don't know if we're doing dinner now, so I think Junior's done for the day. But we can still go. Just leave him here. He's having a rough time.
Bringing some enchiladas back.
Maybe. All right. So, you got anything going on this week?
No, that's about it.
You're back in school.
Yes.
Are you a good boy?
Yes.
No, you're not.
I didn't know you were doing school.
Yes, I'm going to Strayer University working on my accounting degree.
Cool.
He's 2 years away.
2 years.
Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And apparently it's one of those schools where you can't transfer the credits, so it sucks. It doesn't.
It'll be done before you know it.
Yep.
I sure hope so.
Yep. All right, guys. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us today. I know this is a little bit of a bummer. You know, we blame Keith for not being here. He's the energy behind the group. Fuck him. You know what? He's whipped, by that husband of his. But that's okay.
You're brutal today.
Am I? I don't mean to be. No, they Doug and Sam were getting new furniture, and Doug has some nice couches and chairs. And so if they weren't going to take it, I was going to take it. But they get offered first. So they picked up the old furniture so that Doug can get the new furniture. So, yeah, he borrowed a dolly. He owes my dolly. I took my dolly for a walk. Anyway, so I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us. We will see you probably in 2 weeks. Hopefully we'll be more upbeat. If you have some ideas that you want us to talk about, if you want to be on the show, let us know. I want to thank you for hanging out with us. You have a great day.
Bye.
Listening to Girth and Mirth Bears on the PJ and Friends Radio Network.